4, 3.
Hi, welcome to Fundamentals for Startups. I'm Yuli Rivera. I'm one of the managers at CoMotion Labs. For those who are new to us, CoMotion Labs provides a multi-industry lab system, hosting startups inside and outside the UW community in life sciences, biotech, medical devices, robotics and hardware, software, IT, and fintech. Our startups range from pre-seed to Series A, employing 2 to 15 people each, and are variously headed by students, faculty, and community leaders with both new and seasoned entrepreneurs represented. While we wait for everyone to log in, I'll make a few announcements. This week marks the end of the Fall Fundamentals series. We will be back in January with a full winter quarter filled with experts on startup life. Watch your emails for announcements for the upcoming schedule. All Fundamentals for Startup presentations are archived on our CoMotion website under labs/startup training videos. We have covered a variety of topics over the past several years. So if you find yourself with some free time, check out our past talks. And for our full schedule and to register for future Fundamentals, you can visit our events page on the CoMotion website. This year, we are proud to partner with Bluetooth to support the Fundamentals for Startups program. See how Bluetooth audio sharing is poised to once again change the way you will experience audio and connect with the world around you.
Bluetooth introduced the world to wireless audio. Calling, listening, watching, making us safer, more productive, more joyful. It's part of the fabric of our lives. Now, Bluetooth will bring us even closer to each other and our world with audio sharing. It will let us share with others our music, our experiences, listening and watching together. The places we go will share with us, enriching our experiences, helping us hear our world. Breaking down barriers between interests, cultures, generations. Introducing Bluetooth audio sharing. Closer together.
Today, Liana Antanovich is here to present From 2 to 100 People, Evolution of a Founding Team as Your Business Grows. Liana is a recognized expert in the field of business opportunity evaluation and is passionate about giving others a voice. For 10 years, she was founder and managing director of management and consulting firm Copernici. Over the years, she has advised many companies on business and product strategy, investment programs, and has worked extensively at the executive level with a number of technology companies in North America and Europe. Her expertise is in moving companies from creation/pre-revenue to past 250 million in sales. Liana has worked on boards in areas including product, marketing, sales, partner channel, business development, IT, human resources, legal, organizational development, accounting, customer operations, and investor relations. Her goal as a mentor for UW CoMotion teams is to meet with investors, founders, and develop product relationships on an equitable basis. We'll take questions via chat. Feel free to ask questions throughout Liana's presentation. I will now turn over the event to Liana.
Thank you very much, Yuli, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Today I will be talking about the founding team evolution. from 2 to 100. You can see on my screen we have a globe with some lights, and that represents the towns, the cities, where people get together and they invent something and they come up with very interesting ideas. And I love partnering with CoMotion because it gives me a platform to help give others the voice, to help broadcast their voice to others. This is how I can be reached out, and the video will be recorded, and it is recorded, and a PDF version of my presentation can be made available for you. You can email the organizers. So when you will see a very eye charts, eye slides where there is a lot of content, don't try to read them, just listen to what I'm saying. You can always come back to that content and study it in greater detail. I'll try to give quite a bit of practical information today. We will be talking about company journey vision, the people as a fundamental structural point of any organization and a project team, forming a founding team, forming an operating team, placements in cap table, in capitalization table, and career guidelines specific to founders. If there are any questions as I go with the presentation, feel free to post, to type your questions, and please ask Yuli to interrupt me if that's what you would like to do, get your answer. I'm open to that. Not all the questions need to be gathered up at the very end. So when some inventors, founders, just very smart people get together, they at some point have a company journey vision. And it is quite foggy. Yes, there is an understanding that there will be product releases, that below the arrow with product releases, we can imagine our teams, our board, our managers, and headcount can grow from 2-3 initial people in the innovation stage to all the way to 100 employees, and that already makes it into a small business, a small commercial enterprise. Above, we have the very interesting and exciting revenue, cash flow streams, which are investments and revenues from our customers. However, before the company formation, at the point of company legal entity formation, it is very difficult to envision this company journey in detail. It most likely will remain foggy, and that is okay. Today, I will give hints. I will share insight from my experience and experience of my colleagues from professional communities, how to think and what to plan for when you're very early and as you go through the company journey. If we take a SaaS firm example, there are a lot of studies, and I refer to insightssquared.com. The link is on the slide below. You can go and read this study by yourself. When the company is less than 50 employees, executive team is approximately 4 people. There are at least 6 teams: product, engineering, finance, admin, marketing, sales, and services. And teams have a range because business models are different, but teams have various range, 2 to 3, 4 to 12. It depends on the company, product, or service. Already, when a company is formed and lives through the stage from company formation to less than 50 employees, organizational structures have some flaws. One of the frequent flaws is that product and engineering teams, creators, are the same people who do the services, professional services, and customer support. Marketing can be underestimated and trusted to just one marketing person. Marketing is expected to generate sales. Marketing isn't. Marketing does not generate sales. Marketing generates increases probability of sales, but not the sales. It can be that there is no governance on the board and company self-organizes, managers recruit operating team members themselves. It can be that CEO and product manager roles are not split in headcount. One person does it all. When the company grows beyond 50 people, some of the issues may stay the same. Product engineering can still be the same people who do the services. CEO and product managers can still be not split in headcount. At that stage, it can be for the company almost catastrophic. The new issues can be that there is a need already for a professional CEO. Let's say there was a founding CEO at the moment of company formation. There is a need for professional CEO, but it can be hard to recruit. Or a founding CEO is not relinquishing control or his or her seat. Product marketing and product management as disciplines may not exist. They are highly demanded at that stage, but they may not exist. Marcom drives leads generation, and engineering works on features, and that's how all the effort is allocated. One clarification on startup board. We heard that there are board directors and that there are advisors. These are two different creatures. Board directors are deeply involved with the company. They spend, even if they are part-time and not full-time operationally, they spend quite a bit of time with the company. They're equitable. They meet in person at least a few times a year when the company is spread geographically. Then they fly in. If it is in the same town, they meet. Advisors are also equitable roles, but it is very few touch points, and they communicate with the company, with the board, mostly via Skype, Zoom, or email. So let's touch the subject of the people. What do we need to take into account from the very beginning, before the company is being formed, at the stage of company formation, to avoid those future problems, or to set the team for success, to overcome those hurdles more successfully and easily? There is a society pyramid. Everybody knows it. I will not spend too much time on it. Alpha, bold, contributing, and dependence. That's how we are organized. However, through different stages in life, people take different levels in the hierarchy. A famous physicist, Michio Kaku, I'm quoting him, is saying, "Cheerleaders feel great at school, but nobody told them that after school, society pyramid gets turned upside down. The quiet people may end up on top, and cheerleaders may not be on top of the society pyramid anymore." So we take our place in the hierarchy based on environment, circumstances, and our individual characteristics. A very famous Dmitry Taran, who is a CEO of Yalta Movie Production Studio, in his lecture on journalism to students of the Moscow State University, educates them on interviewee profiling. When you form a company, when you have a few friends, a few colleagues, and you are inspired to form a company, your stakeholders, your current and future stakeholders, will be looking at you from a certain lens. Sometimes it is subconscious. And Dmitry Taran actually shares a concept, how people are being perceived. The human life cycle is a wheel, and it goes from 0 to 12 years when we're children, from 12 to 24 when we're young teenagers, and then it goes in 24-year chunks, 24 to 48, and from 48 to 96. In developed countries, this is the lifespan of people, and 12, 24, 48, and 96 are milestones. Everything that's on the left-hand side of the chart is when people are cost centers. When we're children and teenagers, we cost money to somebody or to something. At 24 years, there is a break-even happening. The best and the brightest begin earning their first money way before 24. And the most successful ones are normally, typically, get to break even at 24 years old. In developed countries, less and less youth gets to break even at 24 because of cost of life is so substantial and cost of education is so substantial. Many get to break even after 30 years, 30, 36. And this is not good, because that means that during our productive years, we still have a planning horizon, which is a week. We are driven by wishes. And in terms of money, we are still a liability. On the right-hand side, people are already profit centers. They generate cash flow. They've been at the break-even. Their planning horizon expands. It's already a year. They're driven by interests. They already can convert their wishes, filter them out, and focus on interests. And those who are post 48 years old, those are the golden foundation of society. Their planning horizon is decades. They think of generations, like a famous movie, Godfather. Many saw that movie series. And they're driven by values and by objectives. They're definitely money-making, and they're profit and asset center. So for a startup, for a project, for any innovation, that is a new idea plus potentially a new business model, and the product market fit is at question. People who are in the lower right quadrant, mature senior, are the best leaders, the best individuals for the team formation. It can be an adult as well, but the ones in the last quarter of the life cycle have the strongest potential. That's how founder candidates land on the age map. Entrepreneur A type, which is street smart, very active. Already when they're 9, they tell everybody what to do. They fail to follow orders. You can see and identify them right away. Then there are book smarts, and those are entrepreneur B type, junior, research student, businessman, junior, MBA student. They identify themselves as such a little bit later in life, but after 24 years old, this all blends in, and they grow into a purple blend: entrepreneur A, entrepreneur B, senior, and entrepreneur and businessman, business human, senior. The startup is a risky enterprise. It has been like that before pandemic. during pandemic and after, it will be especially a sensitive subject where we want to think many, many times before taking action. Is Terminator your favorite movie? If yes, go for a startup, because that will be your game for quite some time. You may hear a lot of cheers and motivational speeches and presentations and books about how to go and how to play this game. But while it is fun, it also comes with the pressure and stress. And I'm sharing with the to-be founders right away these lowlights of forming a startup. It is a continuous, non-stop, no-break run. You will be Sarah O'Connor, your innovation will be Chris, and your company will be a Terminator robot until dissolved. Especially when you will start bringing investors into equation. Investors have their own Terminators. They are on their own run. And they project that run, that stress, those demands onto the company. So it is, if you're looking for comfort, startup is not the scene. If you're looking for fun and you're ready for stress and you're rather thick-skinned, excellent. How can I see, or investors or anybody else can see, which person can be a good candidate to be a startup founder? Out of all the criteria, I like to spot 3 of them. It's adult or senior on maturity age map. If it is a person under 24, maybe. Some people are very, very talented and they mature younger, significantly younger, but those are unique individuals. The second criteria I especially value is they score very high on aesthetics. Because when you are in a startup and it is such a risky environment, you want to be very sensitive to the weakest signals, to the finest piece of dust on the shelf. Because those little weak signals, you want to identify them proactively, calculate that it can be, they can appear into existence, and set the systems that the system would be ready to respond. So being very high on aesthetics translates that this person likely has this ability to recognize and build systems based on weak signals, and has an investor mindset. People under 24 do not have investor mindset. They're still working themselves out to become self-sufficient, to become independent. They don't have investor mindset. They're looking for a situation where they can sell their skills and get a paycheck. Startups, as we will be seeing later, is not the best environment for that. So they can be participants in a startup when there is already cash flow and such, but being founders is different. Founders are investors. In the long run, founders in a startup most often, because this is how the numbers work, get paid less than on a corporate job. Many venture capitalists, private equity firms share that it is 1 out of 10 or maybe a couple out of 1 out of 20 for the hardware case, where founders get a significant, and investors, VCs, get a significant payback. The other 19 or the other 9, either they make some break even, a little bit profitable, but the rest dissolves, they go flat. Forming a founding team begins differently based on who is a founding who is the founding CEO? Who is the executive founder? If it is entrepreneur A, it is one company journey, customer needs driven journey. If it is entrepreneur B, it's technology driven journey. There is a know-how and we see where it may fit. If it is a business human beginning, then it is a cash hungry journey. However, after some initial periods of differences in the company pathways, the rhythm of business homogenizes. And that happens approximately, if we're talking about B2B or B2C, it starts this homogenization happening on the third commercial version of a product. The unique situation, the unique people, personality characteristics do not matter that much anymore. The business begins living its own cycle, its own life. From idea to plan workshop that I took from the UW. This is the picture and the slide from this workshop. Professors, students, participants in CoMotion have four commercialization pathways. License innovation to an existing company, build an internal business at UW, distribute for free, or the most difficult path, license innovation to a new startup, to form a startup. The number of people in the founding team can be different. It can be 1, can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 10. I took the case of 3 founding people and show examples how these teams are formed, most likely based on who starts the team. The first diagram on the left, we can see that there is an entrepreneur B technology, which is a co-founder 1, and it is a co-founder 2, it can be 3 and 4 and such, who come with the skill set of product management, customer operations, etc. It is very fortunate if the team from the ideation stage included into the work on a project entrepreneur A, the mature person from the industry. This way, the company starts right. CEO is a very strong alpha with a lot of experience. It's adult or better senior. And then that person pulls the whole structure, the whole wheel, and the company starts working right from the get-go. It can be, and this in the central diagram, that these 2 people didn't have access to a entrepreneur A or a business human from the industry when they were working in a lab, but there is already an idea that this might be a product. A good case is when this team, co-founder 1 and co-founder 2, go out and recruit and bring to the team a CEO when they understand that they need a CEO who will become that wheel, that central wheel. This is another good scenario. There can be a third scenario where the company starts co-founder 1 and late co-founder 2, and actually not the co-founder 2, but it's a business human with co-founder 1. Business human has money, brings investment, finds an idea somewhere, partners with a scientist or with a lab, and then they understand that in order to form the company, they need to bring in some people from business operations, product managers, business operations, etc. And then they bring the gray wheel is a late co-founder too. So these 3 scenarios, I've seen them over and over. They do work. They do work. These are the good ones. Fair founding CEO candidates for a startup. It's a professional CEO recruited from the industry, can be entrepreneur A or business human. It's a professional CEO from another startup in the same domain. For example, if you are working on a device with ultrasonic features, there is a CEO who started and have a startup exited from the same domain, selling the solution to the same or similar customers, the same supply chain, etc. That is a very good candidate. It can be a commercial industry advisor from ideation stage who started partnering with you through CoMotion programs, or at company formation, or it can be somebody who joined later. Business human, unlikely, but entrepreneur A, very likely. And there are situations when students come to the university and they join this process, but students had prior industry commercial experience. If they've had 5-7 years of a previous commercial industry experience and they have entrepreneur A mindset, and now they're at the university, now they're working with the professors, they'll likely have the framework in their mind of the product market fit, what it is and how to achieve it. They can be good young CEO candidates. From two people, from the ideation stage on the left-hand side, we can see that. The company turns into formation stage. We see it on the right-hand side. The purple wheel of the mature alpha entrepreneur A or business human, yeah, good CEO, founding CEO, recruited CEO. We see entrepreneur B, light blue student. We see a professor from the lab, co-founder 2, and we see some orange brand and marketing, sales and customer operations folks. Board of advisors at this stage may enrich. It can be a few people. University of Washington may be present with a 5% of licensed equity in the founding company. So that's how we moved from just 2 technologists who were in the ideation stage with a project to all of a sudden 3 people on the board and 5 for the operating team. What's the decision-making of a professor? Professor is thinking, is this innovation a complete solution? Or is it an add-on to existing brands? A professor is thinking, do I continue to pursue the academic career with portfolio of equity stakes and startups? Or do I leave the academic career and join a startup all in? Decision process of a professor then cascades down. What's on the top is the easiest path to commercialization for the idea to make an impact with minimal presence of a professor outside the comfort zone of the lab. And this is a CoMotion. It's a licensing through CoMotion, through UW, to some large organizations, to their R&D departments. This is easy. Hand off, back to the lab to continue working on technology. Then there is another question. If it is a full solution, can it be a one-product company or a product brand standalone? If the answer is yes, this is interesting and worth looking further. Then the next question is there an existing startup somewhere or a small business or enterprise who could adopt and spin my invention for immediate scalable impact? If there is such, then it is like a bird that likes to put its eggs into somebody's else bird's nest. Then it is a next path for an innovation. There is already a team. A professor doesn't have to manage the team. There is also there is a point of handoff. But what if there isn't? The innovation is so unique. The then it is a question. Can it be a one-product company and is it worth to form a startup for it? And then the questions around it. How much will it cost to create a nesting company for my project? Am I eligible to be a co-founder? Can I, with my team of students, attract a professional CEO for a startup? Or do I have to become a founding CEO? Can one of my students become a CEO? Lots of questions. This is a difficult path. And then what stake, degree of involvement can I commit to it? What's the best for a business? If a professor goes down that route, I picked an icon with a person with a lot of boxes. This is definitely outside of the comfort zone, very long path and very challenging for a technologist. What's the decision process of a student? The student in this process is a facilitator and actually a decision maker. So we have youth, we have talent, empowered by knowledge, hungry for money, smart, yeah? It's obvious that smart people aim to enter university and graduate it and have some credentials. People who are not interested in it do not go there. Is my product a complete solution or an add-on to existing brands? And then thinking about themselves. Do I pursue an academic career? Do I get rather a corporate job? Or do I facilitate and join a startup? Decision process for a student facilitator goes only into 2 tables, but do not read it right now. You can view it later when you look at the video or when you receive a PDF of the presentation. It's either of the 2 paths. The top path is the best and the easiest and most matches the youth position on the age maturity wheel. When students need to pay off their loans, they need to make the money, etc. The best path is, can I join another existing company with my idea and possibly grant money? If that is true, if that is possible, that is phenomenal. Selling yourself, your skill set with idea, what's for me in the right column of this table. Salary from day one, stock award if idea and IP is worth something, vested stock options, warrants, healthcare, 401k, focused career for a company which is already a brand name. That is a very good investment and transitional path for a graduate to the next part of life. And there is a different path, which is most suitable for a student who has had prior commercial industry experience before entering and graduating the university. What's for me? Salary at risk, if ever. I invest time and money upfront and lots. Possibly a bigger equity stake can pay off when the company gets profitable. Sometime at exit I can get my money. It's a long-term game. It's very risky enterprise without industry CEO, without alpha, without entrepreneur A. It's a very risky game, even if it is a business human. Opportunity for a versatile career, for sure. The ones who are jacks of all trades and like to be generalists, there is no better environment to flourish and to experience all your strengths, all your diversity and versatility other than in a startup. So the founding team is being formed. But the founding team typically cannot launch a product commercially. To launch a product commercially, the company needs to form an operating team. Because from that point, from the point of launch to prepare the launch, and then support operations of a product or service in the market, it requires a team. And this team needs to be built, trained, team building exercise, etc. It all needs to happen at the pre-launch stage. So as soon as you form the company, you're already facing your next milestone. You need to form an operating team. What happens? When you are on the left side of the chart, the blue wheel entrepreneur student and the navy wheel entrepreneur B professor, they were on the top. This whole wheel structure was supporting them. Advisors somewhere on the bottom, UW professionals somewhere on the bottom. They were pretty much on the top of the pyramid. And then following the expression of Michio Kaku, and the pyramid turns upside down. As soon as the operating team is being formed, the pyramid turns upside down. Those who were on the bottom get on the top. Because the company doesn't have cash to pay the money, it offers equity to retain the most experienced talent. They end up on the board. The CEO is partly on the board, but mostly with the operating company, with the operating team. Professor is likely lands somewhere in R&D, if it is a significant involvement. And a student, it's either product development or some sort of customer or the processing tech support. The rest needs to be hired. So we transition from 3.5 to 5.15. The rest, the difference need to be hired, need to be brought. Why 5.15 pairs of eyes? Many heard from physics about the observer effect on electron particle. When there is an observer, electron acts as a particle. When there is an observer is looking away, or there is no observer, the electron acts as a wave spread over space-time. Somehow, do not ask me how, it's just an observation. The same observer effect works for the business entity, works for the product or service at hand. It requires 5.15, this is a generalized formula, a hint. How many unique pairs of eyes, functional eyes, need to look at the product so that this product would make its first commercial spin? When we think about the launch, it's not only the people. And we don't know when we form the founding team how much it will be. Of course, we will have some calculations about how much it can cost to produce certain volume of product units or services. But as soon as we go into actual work on a product launch, all these numbers completely change very frequently. So instead of trying to get into granularity, into detail too early, I'm proposing a framework how to think about it. Think that it is 50 to 50. 50% of your budget will go for people, and another 50 mirror it, multiplied, people by 2. Another 50% will go for the programs. So people and programs. And programs are marketing budget, cash for parts, leasing office, computers, etc., etc. It is easily a 1 million of initial investment to launch a software company, high tech, and easily 15 million in biotech. So 50-50. Now, where do founding teams find the money? Oh, grants. Of course, there are educational research grants. We can ask for them. We can receive them. They go through the lab. This is wonderful. Some of them go to companies when they already formed a business entity. And there are many of them like NSF, NIH, SBIRS, TTR, yeah, government, federal grants. However, those grants go for research. They are not targeting hiring of the operating team. And business operations is typically 90% of the budget. So where does this money come from? That's why founders need to have investor mindset and bring the remainder of needed money from their own salaries, from their own assets, be able to take credit, be able to attract investors, win grants, and hopefully the product is so exciting and in such a high demand that as soon as the company is formed, the first couple of customers are lining up, signing contracts quickly, and the first revenue starts flowing into the company books. There are 4 paths for founding teams to form themselves out of the university. The first one is a straight path. Do it yourself. Just use your advisors and form a C Corp or LLC, but C Corp's better, and then receive your revenue from the customers, and there you are. You're a small business. The next path is being discussed with some interested parties and people who work for quite some time with UW and CoMotion. Can we create a university foundry? This is a new idea. And then the university foundry would help students and professors evaluate the product market fit and create the company, bring necessary people into founding team and into operating team, and then position the company for receiving federal founding grants for startups. And then, small business. There are incubators. There can be a third company, which is a nesting shell for grants and early commercial contracts. So you have your friend's company, which does something similar in the same domain, and they take you in as vendors and employees. UW licenses the solution to that third-party company, and you do your first market test, your first campaigns, your first commercial product launches, being a part of this organization. You're like a kangaroo in mama's bag. This is wonderful, because then you can jump when you're mature and such. You then spin out. You can go create a company, go join accelerator, and voila, you're a small business. That kangaroo scenario is also very, very favorable for a startup. You will see the resources for your journey in the slides. For the foundry, you may want to contact Mike Robinson. I promised Mike I will mention him and his idea. It's an informal application process. He can be reached through mike@uw.edu. And you can see examples of incubators, accelerators, and what the terms are there. Now, when the company is being formed, let's say it's not an LLC, it's a C Corp. There is placement in a cap table. Initial cap table can look like 20, 40, 40, where 40% is initial founding team. Another 40% is the operating team and initial option pool to incentivize new hires with awards. And then 20% is a remaining for the next financing round. David Dorsey from Osage University Partners has given his talk also on fundamentals for startups in this channel, and I'm gladly referring to his material. He gives an example of a cap table for a high-tech company. This is how many people can there be And this is approximately range of the equity stake that they can count for. So active founding scientist or passive founding scientist is a place for in the cap table for a professor. If professor plans to work many hours and spend at least 30 time weekly in a startup for a number of months and years, then the seat is called active founding scientist. If it's not, then it is a smaller percentage of stake, but then a professor can not even show up in any meetings. Typically, for a passive founding scientist, it's just giving a name to the business, and then this passive founding scientist shows up at the exit and says, hello, where's my money? For a professor, very good scenario for a portfolio. Now, let's look at this table again and use our previous concepts from the people chapter and pin them here. How do they map? Entrepreneur A makes a founding CEO or a professional CEO later on. And that's if it is a founding CEO, the range of equity is 30 to 60%. This is news for many. And it should not be. A founding CEO is an investor and makes the whole wheel, the whole system work. Professional CEO that comes later, if it is recruited, if it is recruited by the team or brought by VCs or a strategic investor, it's 5-10 at least. So a founding CEO typically relinquishes some of the stake to a new professional CEO. Or it can be shares that are pulled from different parts of the cap table. A professor, we already talked, it is active founding or passive founding scientist. There are a lot of opportunities for research student here. I'm very excited about this part. A research student can have many levels in a cap table, many roles, and they will be all fair, depending on the maturity, level of involvement, how rare the skill set of a student are, etc. Advisors who students begin working with already at the in CoMotion or through other activities, they can remain with the company on small percentage as individual board member advisor, or they can join the company at some C level, chief of marketing, chief of sales, business development, customer operations, Or it can happen that an advisor, if an advisor has a previous CEO experience or multifunctional experience across different functions, but at a very senior level, it can be a candidate to be either a founding CEO. When the company is being formed, an advisor can say, hey, I'll be a founding, I'll pull the business through initial stage from A to B, and I'll help to hire a professional CEO, unless that person grows to a level of professional CEO by the time that question will be raised. For A, B, C rounds, the company brings in operating team, and the blue, so the university is 5% UW, yeah, and you see the purple head in the board. That is a passive seat that the university has, but the rest, professional CEO, C-level management, head of functions, head of the team, supervisors, and product brand manager being brought to the operating team. That slide you can see later. Career guidelines that relate to founders. It is very important that already at the company formation, at the founding team formation, CEO and product manager would be absolutely two different people. CEO and product manager have different objectives and different behavior. CEO sells a company to all stakeholders. product manager works on product and sells product inside the company and to product stakeholders. Absolutely different roles. CEO already has a lot to balance between being an entrepreneur to customers and partners and fulfilling the role of a business human for investors, banks, vendors, channel, and employees. That is already very difficult to juggle, to work the will of the team, all finances, and make it run. Huge stress, huge focus. If a person does a good job as a CEO, the product will fall through the cracks. If a person does good job as a product, the CEO role will fall through the cracks. It must be the two. Based on where, and I'm wrapping this up, based on how the startup begins and the mindset of the executive founder, there are different journeys and velocities, how the team has potential to go through different stages of revenue on the bottom, and of course it's hypothetical, and on the top, investment rounds. Entrepreneur A will skip through angels, will be very good at identifying strategic investor. So with VCs, because Entrepreneur A has long-term product market focus, will be good with IPO, and they're phenomenal at exit. Business human is very good at VC, IPO, and exit stage. And Entrepreneur B is best with angels because the technology is their baby, and they're very good at finding strategic investor if they are outgoing and entrepreneurial. The orange arrows demonstrate which type of a CEO and from which stage the board might be looking for to replace existing CEO if existing CEO does not work out. Another last slide with a lot of copy. The most important column in the right column at the end, this is investment involvement strategy. What is the best investment involvement strategy for people of these roles? Advisors, Entrepreneur A, businessman senior, junior, Entrepreneur B, technology professor, and research student. Thank you very much. If we have any time for questions.
Thanks, Liana. Yeah, we have a question. Where can you go or what to do if you're struggling to find a co-founder that believes in your vision?
That is an excellent question. And there is a slide here, resources, where there are people. If you go there, there are people who can help with that. You might go to an incubator, it's CoMotion Labs, WeWork Labs, and search through mentors, advisors that are available there, and ask people, startup founders from the same domain who graduated, alumni, where did they find? So it's networking. Yeah, it's incubators, it's accelerators like Y Combinator, Techstars, SkyDeck, CDL, Mac37. Join their networking events. And it's networking essentially, because the other route is to recruit, but recruiting requires, working with a recruiting company that specializes on it, and that is a lot of cash for a CEO role. So typically recruiters are attracted for companies that are already well funded. At initial stage, it's networking, and the foundry, of course. And use your own advisors and mentors from CoMotion and from WeWork Labs. Ask them to help and to bring connections.
Great. And we have a question. Could you clarify the distinction between founder and business human?
Yes. Business human is, thank you, that's a very good question. Business human is somebody who is very much numbers and P&L focused. It is somebody who has had P&L responsibility for a large business unit and has financial background. For example, it is a financial director or a chief financial officer. This person may have no product launch, product development experience, but it is very strong financial background. A founder is a general term for anybody who gets into the cap table at the formation of the company. Yeah, does it help?
Great, thank you. All right, everyone, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate you joining us today, and a big thank you to Liana for sharing her wisdom with the group. As a reminder, this is our last fundamentals for the year. We will see you in January. Watch out for emails for the upcoming schedule. Wear a mask out there, be safe, and we will see you in January. Bye.
Yes, and please feel free to email if there are any other questions. Liana@Copernici.com. Thanks.